are not here to advocate abortion. We do not ask this court to rule that abortion is good or desirable in any particular situation. We are here to advocate that the decision as to whether or not a particular woman will continue to carry or will terminate a pregnancy is a decision that should be made by that individual. That in fact she has a constitutional right to make that decision for herself, and that the state has shown no interest in interfering with that decision. Our supplemental brief on page 14 points out that the brief of the opposition can't quite decide when
affect working class black women and people more than anybody else.
This is absolutely a human rights issue, and we need more men to show up. Everybody's got to be here. This is our issue.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, I had some additional quotes for definitions and evidence as well, which I am going to insert here and here eventually somewhere in the video. So, the Supreme Court is one of the highest courts in the United States, and it interprets law and decides whether or not a law is constitutional or unconstitutional based on the Constitution itself, and that was created by the Founding Fathers. And in all purpose, it is to protect people from institutions, including the federal government, state government, local government. I would assume including itself, but not really sure. So that is their purpose, and for majority of the time that the Supreme Court has been here, probably not now, people are probably a little bit wary of whether or not they trust the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has made a lot of decisions that are overall good for the majority of individuals, that expands rights and protects rights, which is why you have Supreme Court decisions like Brown versus education and same-sex marriage and privacy laws and everything like that, which actually correlate to Roe versus Wade as well. Well, not Brown versus education, but protect, expand rights, and just make sure that things are constitutional. And also, you're not supposed to be biased when you're in the Supreme Court. You're supposed to base things off of precedent, which I will quote what precedent means so that you guys can understand that as well. Let's move on to who is Roe and why Roe versus Wade was passed in the first place. Okay, so Roe was a Southerner. She was born in Dallas, Texas, or at least she was raised there. It's kind of ironic because her mother actually wanted to have an abortion, but Roe was born in the mid-1900s, so because Roe vs. Wade actually passed in the 1973, so she was born in like the mid-1900s, and her mother obviously earlier, so abortion really wasn't really much of an option then. But anyways, Roe was born to her mother. Her mother was an alcoholic, and Roe, throughout early stages of life and into adulthood, she went through a lot of destructive and abusive, pretty much. Her mom was an alcoholic and physically abusive to her daughter, Roe, and at early age of like, I would say like becoming a preteen, so like 11, 12, she ended up running away from home and living with a family friend. And while she was living with a family friend, he was also sexually abusive to Roe. She was raped and sexually assaulted. And then at the age of 15, she married a man. Obviously, she got married, and her husband was physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive to her as well. So she just went through so much, all of these things that honestly a lot of children do go through when they are born to people who aren't the best parents, and in other areas when they are given away and put in different systems. But anyways, so Roe ended up having 3 children. She ended up having her first child when she was 16, I believe, and her second child she gave up for adoption, and then she ended up getting pregnant again. I think she was 17 at the time. She was still pretty young, and she just didn't want to go through that process of carrying the child and having to give it away to another person, because it was a lot for her, like really was, and she couldn't afford to have the baby. She didn't even take care of her first child. Her mother was mostly taking care of that one, and she just didn't know what to do. Well, she spoke to her friend about it, and her friend was like, oh, why don't you try abortion, because that was an option. And so she spoke to her doctor. Her doctor said it wasn't legal in Dallas, Texas, where she lived, and so she didn't know what to do, because she didn't want to carry the child. She didn't want to have to give it away, and she couldn't take care of it. So her doctor ended up giving her a number. When she looked it up or called, it was for an adoption clinic, but somehow she ended up getting connected with 2 attorneys who were feminists and who were looking for someone to go to the Supreme Court with to ensure that women had rights over their bodies, to decide whether or not they were ready to be a parent or not, and make that decision accordingly depending on their circumstance. And so she found Roe. So basically the whole point of Roe v. Wade was to ensure that every woman had the right to abort, had the choice, had the option to women's health, literally, because it's a woman's health issue, it's a woman's right issue, it's a reproductive rights issue, and that's pretty much what that was about. So now on to tut. I'm trying to sit where I'm comfortable. Also at this time, abortion was legal in some states. It was becoming legal for many reasons, because at the time, because abortion was illegal in some states, a lot of those women in those states would get abortions illegally and end up hurting themselves in the process. Whereas people who had money were able to travel to these states by plane, by bus, whatever means of travel that they could, to get an abortion if they needed. So it left many poor individuals, many people of color, without a safe option when they didn't have the means to take care of another child, or didn't feel that they would be the best parent, or didn't want to have to go through the stress of giving away their child, or even carrying their child or the fetus. And so it's not that, and also it wasn't as political as it has become back then, because even Republicans like Nixon signed into law protections and opened up availability for women to have abortions. Okay, so now let's get into the decision. So, as you all know, I don't know if it was a week ago or about 2 weeks ago, but the decision had came out. The leak was correct. They were overturning Roe v. Wade, a constitutional right that had been in law for about 50 years. And if you respect precedent, then I don't think that would have changed. But anyways, it did. And so now so many women have lost the right to decide what happens when they get pregnant, to decide based off their circumstance what was the best option for them and for the child or the fetus. So I took the luxury of watching, I just wanted to see how this really happened and explain to you guys how this really happened. So during Trump's presidency, he made it sure to elect 3 Supreme Court justices. I will have the names for them, one right here, one right here, one right here. And these 3 Supreme Court justices were pro-life individuals, and it's crazy because many have said that they would not overturn Roe v. Wade because of the precedent of it, but that was their plan all along.
Roe v. Wade is a precedent in the United States Supreme Court. Once a case is settled, that adds to the determinacy of the law. What was once a hotly contested issue is no longer a hotly contested issue. We move forward.
Judge Kavanaugh and I talked about whether he considered Roe to be settled law. He agreed that it was settled law.
I understand the importance of the precedent set forth in Roe v. Wade. It's settled as a precedent of the Supreme Court.
Do you agree that Roe was wrongly decided?
I can't pre-commit or say, yes, I'm going in with some agenda, because I'm not. I don't have any agenda. I, as a judge, have an obligation to respect and enforce only that law that the people themselves have embraced. It's not the law of Amy, it's the law of the American people.
Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically.
To be honest, a lot of pro-life individuals have been fighting since the passage of Roe v. Wade, have been making sure that they are electing and voting for individuals who were pro-life so that this constitutional right could be amended or removed. And so it's been in the making. It's been in the process of tearing it down for 50 years since the passage of Roe v. Wade. And now on to my reflections. So I want to clarify the difference between pro-life and pro-choice. For individuals who believe that the fetus is a human life at the start of contraception, as soon as that happens, it's a human life. And if you believe that, then you believe that it's murder. I want to state something from Trevor because I love his videos or his shows about the news. And there was just something that he said that stuck out to me. The idea of having a pro-life concept, the concept of pro-life is basically saying that those who are not pro-life don't care about life. But that's not true, because no one supports murder. No one doesn't care about life. That's insane. I care about life. But anyways, so if you're pro-life, you believe that at contraception, that is a human life, and that if you abort, you are murdering a life. And then for those who are pro-choice, the belief is that we are our own individuals and we have the right to make our own choices accordingly. We have free will, and we are going to make whatever decision that is best for us. That's the idea of pro-choice. I personally agree with those who are pro-choice, and it's because who am I to tell the woman across from me or my coworker or a celebrity or just anyone? Who am I to tell another stranger what they can and can't do with themselves, especially their choice to have an abortion? I'm not. And so who am I to really put my belief onto you? And everyone is entitled to their own opinions. The only problem with people who are pro is that when you elect individuals who are going to create a law that is taking away a fundamental freedom and right, that's wrong. What you're doing is you're putting your religious beliefs and you're putting your beliefs on another individual. If you don't agree, that's fine. You don't have to do it. And personally, and I feel like many others would agree, it seems that a lot of you care so much about this human life, right? Or this fetus, until it is born. You don't care what happens to the child when they are raised by parents who don't deserve to be parents and shouldn't be parents in the first place. You don't care if they're sexually abused, physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused. Where are you then? Where are you when that child is starving? Where are you when the parent can't afford diapers? Nowhere to be found. And a lot of you care so much about life, right? But where are you? I don't see many of you adopting children. I don't see you making sure that the foster care system is fixed and correct. Because many times you guys think that that's the best option, right? To just, go not all 9 months and then to give your baby, right? Give your baby away, right? And a lot of people don't even know who they're really giving their children to. There are babies in the foster care system, there are babies in the CPS system and the system in general who are not being fed, who are being raped, sexually assaulted, who are being abused, who are not being supported, because I'm pretty sure you guys heard a lot of stories where foster care parents, the money that they're getting to actually help them take care of the children, they're using for themselves. Cases where the CPS system has literally lost children. Cases where foster parents have killed foster children from beating on them too hard or too much. That just happened, a year ago? Where's the care then? Where is the care when children are being shot and killed in schools? Same people who called the New York State law that actually kept guns from coming outside as unconstitutional. Actually, I'll quote what the law actually is. That law was meant to, in my opinion, it was for public safety, to protect individuals. So by eliminating that, you're saying it's okay to come outside with a gun regardless of your reasoning. Doesn't that create more violence? And I feel like it's just such a horrible concept, especially when not even too long ago there was a shooting in the train. The thing is, there are more things to care about. And someone having an abortion doesn't hurt anybody but the individual having that. Right? Right? It doesn't hurt the masses. So I feel like their focus is just on the wrong things, really. There's so many more things that we should be focused on, and it's just not the right things. And also, you have to understand why people have abortions. People who have abortions aren't just doing it for the fun of it. It hurts the woman, like, emotionally. A lot of women go through depression and so many things with that because it's hard to make that decision. It's hard. And I don't think you guys understand that. I feel like whenever people have have that, and other individuals hear about that, you're automatically quick to judge. It's not like people are just throwing out, people aren't just aborting for the fun of it. Literally, when someone decides to do that, their decision is based off of so many different reasons. For example, there is a lady, I'm going to actually post it up here as well. Her baby, she was actually excited to be pregnant. She was actually excited to be having a kid, right? But her baby, after going to the doctor, she realized her baby was having seizures during her pregnancy. Told by the doctors her baby was going to die. And so she wanted to abort because she didn't want to feel her baby dying inside of her. She wanted to get rid of all the pain that baby was feeling. She wanted to reduce that pain by giving the baby to God sooner, if you believe in God. Giving the baby to God sooner. Because of the state that she lives in, they told her no. So now she has to live with her baby dying inside of her. That is insane. That is cruel. Do you not consider that circumstance? That situation? Because you don't care. You really don't care about life. The whole overturning of Roe v. Wade it's not about life. It's not. It's about control over women. Literally. Control. That's what you really want. You want to go back to a time where women didn't have rights. Or even the situation, when I was in high school, 3 years ago, I remember hearing about this girl who was in a southern country, and she was raped, and she got pregnant, and she was very young, and they told her she had to keep the baby. I don't know about you, but if I was raped, just having that inside of me, it would be a constant reminder of that rape, of that person, of that individual that hurt me, that hurt her. I feel like a lot of people believe that having the option to abort means that everybody's going to abort their children. I think that's just really insane because a lot of people have kids. It's just an option for you to decide what's best for you. Some people are in situations where, for example, the girl whose baby is dying inside of her, or babies that are stillborn. These are people who want to have children, but things happen. Or you just economically cannot afford it. You can barely afford to feed yourself, so how can you feed a baby at that? These are women, black women, whose mortality rates are high as ever. Look at CDC's website. That are high as ever when having children. Because the healthcare system does not support black women the way it's supposed to. And we can go on and on about this because you think that black women are strong, right? Are stronger than the average woman, which is totally insane. But anyways, then there are the same way that men can decide that they want to continue on with their future instead of having a child is the same way that a woman should be able to decide that. I feel like a lot of you still believe that a woman's role is just to have a child. Because some women decide not to have children because they end up making mistakes when they are too young. Girls in high school who maybe they don't want to have a child. Maybe they want to finish high school. Maybe they want to go to college. Maybe they want to be a doctor or a lawyer. And so there are certain decisions that they have to make that they may not always all the time be happy with. I know there are many women who literally were like halfway through college and ended up making a mistake, and the best option for them was, okay, if I'm being completely honest with myself, would it be smart for me to have a baby now without a degree, without any actual job? Am I going to be able to take care of this child? In most cases, no, unless you have very good connections and you live in a very, either wealthy family or people who know people who have money, then maybe, yeah. But that's not the case for everybody. And the crazy thing is, this overturning, right, of Roe v. Wade, it's really just affecting poor and minority women, because a lot of the women who have money, right, they're going to be able to find a way to have an abortion. And if you think that they're going to get charged, right, and put in prison for, killing their baby, they're not. Because just as back in the day, they're going to have the money to, one, hire the best lawyers to cover up their case or situation. This country and people in general are always putting the blame on women, right? A lot of you, especially people who are pro-life, have said, oh, just have safe sex. As if women aren't already having safe sex, right? Women use condoms. Women make sure that they use condoms. Women make sure that they're on birth control, if they agree with birth control, so that they won't have children. And the thing is, you guys forget to remember that these things aren't 100% proof. Like, condoms break. Not all the time does birth control work. Or the, just make sure he doesn't come inside of you. First of all, there's such thing as free cum. Second of all, why don't you tell the men to make sure that they don't come inside of the woman? Or a lot of you say, don't have sex, right? You're saying don't have sex, right? And this is another way of also putting your beliefs, religious beliefs, on people, because I feel like, even with the saying don't have sex, right, I feel like a lot of you are going to be like, oh well, if you were married then, right? I just think a lot of people aren't considering everybody's situation, and it needs to be considered. You shouldn't pass a law that is taking away rights. There should be laws to protect rights of people that are here, living already. You guys don't give a fuck about the citizens that are already here, but you care about a fetus that is in someone's stomach, but you don't care about the children who are already here. What protections are you making for children who are getting hurt in schools by evil people? Or actually, I'm not even going to say evil people. People who have not been supported the way that they needed to be supported, and why they're lashing out the way that they are. How are you protecting the people that are here? The children that are here? So crazy, because there are nations outside of the United States that are looking at us like we're a joke. Because recently we have been a joke. The fact that a lot of other countries are literally protecting people's women rights, women health issues, making sure that they're helping and reducing the amount of women health issues that there are. Because the fact of the matter is, you can't stop abortions. People are going to have abortions regardless of if it's legal or not illegal. The only difference is a lot more women are going to be hurting themselves, because not everybody has the money or finances to get the support that they need if it's not provided for them in their given state. So be ready for women putting their children in trash cans. Be ready for suicides by women. Be ready for a lot of women dying because they are illegally getting abortions by people who are not professional and not trained to do it. Be ready. Be ready. Now, on to my solutions. We need to get politically active, guys. Politically active. Just as other individuals, those who are pro-life, got politically active. If you are pro-choice, or you just support women's rights, or you support women's health, if you support reducing women's health issues, you just support rights in general, get on the bandwagon. Protest. Vote. Make sure you are electing individuals to the Supreme Court that are about protecting human rights, about protecting women's rights, promoting women's rights. Because right now we're just going backwards. And the only way we're going to be able to make actual progress and make sure that these rights are actually protected, to make sure that we're speaking to state legislators, local legislators. We got to make sure that every single branch of government you need to be speaking to, you need to be engaging with, and you need to be electing individuals in those offices. Because just voting for president is not enough. You need to vote for Congress members. You need to vote for Senate members in your states and in the federal government. You need to be electing individuals who will offer rights and offer the expansion of rights. And I just really hope that this doesn't get any worse. I hope that this doesn't get rid of same-sex marriage, because if you want to marry, you should be able to marry whoever you want to marry. And I hope that this does not interfere with that. I hope this does not interfere with privacy rights, but to be honest, it's already interfering with that, because literally women can't even use their period trackers anymore. So, or can't get shipped things anymore. So, but yeah. But anyways, I'm not against anybody. You are entitled to your own opinion and your own belief. But when you infringe on other people's rights, that's an issue. And also, doesn't the Constitution say that? It says that. I feel like you are allowed to do whatever you want as long as you don't infringe on other people's rights. I feel like that's when it becomes an issue. Honestly. But anyways, let's have a discussion. Comment down below, how you feel. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, doesn't matter. I'm open to everyone's views and opinions, like you are entitled to believe what you want. You are entitled to see the world the way you want to. It's your life, and what you decide to do with it is up to you. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little chaotic. I got a little angry, just a little bit, but that's okay, I guess. That I guess was horrible. But that's okay. I'm just very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about human rights and protecting people's rights and making sure that no one is infringing on another person's right because you simply don't agree with them. It's okay to disagree, but once you are affecting someone's, right to live their life the way that they want to, I feel like that becomes an issue. But, yeah. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you like this idea of political talks with Raya. And I will also leave the links of all of the things that I researched, watched, and listened to on podcast, just so that you can be more informed about, the situation at hand, if I didn't do that well at explaining, and also like where I got my evidence from as well. Oh, excuse me. And also where I got a lot of my evidence from as well, because yeah, a lot of evidence. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the technical difficulties, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out. Roe was, I don't know what's going on, but it's a lot, and it's like annoying me just a little bit. I'm gonna let them pass.